took, but I think talents might be better just because Holly took it much closer than him.
Yeah, that's what I got his pulled up.
Dude, that one where fucking Luster gets me while fucking wails me in the fucking stomach, gets me to bite that fake so hard. The video entire posted all the fucking reactions.
You know what I would love to do is be able to fight with both of my fucking hands again. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, the rest of us have a chance here, buddy.
People are like, "Oh, look at him! He thinks he's so cool fighting one hand." I was like, "I can't fight with both of them. My arm doesn't work."
Fucking weave.
I wish I could have been able to see. That would have been nice.
Dude, yeah. For your trial, the trial before that, I couldn't see, and for yours, I like really could. Obviously, you probably have brain damage.
You hit me in the neck, so I was not brain damaged, but
That's
that
good.
was one of the
just
worst
neck
neck shots I
damage.
think. Just neck
Just
damage.
normal damage.
Just my nerves in my neck.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't feel the shots, I mean, technically they're light.
That's right.
I need a throne.
Did I ever tell you my Coke throne story?
Your what?
My Coke throne?
Coke throne?
Yeah.
Like cocaine or
No. I'm not that cool. No. So my buddy and I used to be like super addicted to Coca-Cola in college. Before we realized that energy drinks were just better. And we went to a Target and it was like 3 12-packs for $10. So I think I spent like $50 and then he spent $100 in Coke. And we didn't have anywhere to store it, so we made a chair out of it. And it was the Coke throne. And over the entire semester, we eventually got it down to the Coke chair, the table, the Coke ottoman, the Coke stool. But we drank all of it.
It's incredible. Cocaine.
I thought you were talking about cocaine. I was like, bro, with this
No,
I
I'm
can
not that
suck
cool.
down. I can suck that stuff
Don't
down.
do it. But you do need a throne, Katie. I didn't want to say it earlier. I didn't want to offend you, but
I need a throne. I just want just one throne.
There was the throne that Borg made out of swords for that one rag.
I saw photos of that. I was probably there, but that was during the time where I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like right when Game of Thrones was really popular.
All right, what are we missing? I still don't see Damon.
Me neither.
Yeah, you won't see me unless I pull up the actual stream, or you pull up the actual stream.
I thought I pulled it up.
Yep.
Whatever. I don't.
I just do it through the webcam program, so I don't have to worry about editing stuff.
Are we ready to rock?
Hey, when you are.
Yeah, I got the chat up too.
Have some chat, boys.
Hello.
Welcome.
We'll go ahead and start it and show everyone's beautiful face.
Chat first. Use this. That's not for cold drinks.
I like how we both
what Farron told me.
decided to wear Knight's garb
Without saying shit.
without saying anything.
That's my
That's
twos
twos,
partner.
yeah, that's twos.
It's my twos. Look at it. What I'm talking about.
Says.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Red or Dead. Tonight we have a special host,
Elias.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Blade Master Evias, the father of Red Fighter.
Legend.
Man,
Oh,
myth,
boy.
and legend.
The fulcrum
Himself.
of great
Oh.
sword.
It's true.
The anchor of power.
That's just how you guys were just telling me I'm getting old, but being nice about it.
Elias
feel like-
probably already knows this, but he's responsible for me ever getting into great sword, so it's definitely good to have him on here.
Boy. No, man, I remember those early Ides of March. Dear God. That was like foundational.
Those are good times. Then the event went to shit, but that's not the point. The point is you're here now.
Alright, well, let's do some quick intros, and then Evias can steal the spotlight.
Yeah.
So I am Sir Damon out of Albion.
Who's next?
I'm Blade Master Apprentice Fox of the Keepers of the Obsidian Stag.
I am Sir Blademaster Arden of Sons of Terra, Albion.
I'm Blade Master Evias. I don't have a unit, but I roll dirty with the fucking Dirt Dojo, baby. If any Dirt Dojo homies are watching, I love you. You're my babies.
Their dojo. We'll drink to that.
I drink to that.
Hell yeah, brother.
Before we start off, what's everybody got on the menu tonight? What we got? I got some. I'm going with the theme of fire. We got some Jack Daniel's fire because we don't drink Fireball because we're sophisticated gentlemen in this. And we like to pay $20 more for this thing that tastes the same.
Oh, true.
That's fair. That's fair.
I haven't been able to
Hell
do
yeah.
Fireball since the last time we had a party at Faxis' house, and I was laying down in the yard for a while.
Last time I had Fireball, my wife poured like fucking 2 shots into my sandals, my fucking Birkenstocks. I had sticky feet. Hey, fuck.
Not the sticky
I'm on-
feet.
It was warm, but they was warm.
Warm and sticky. Warm, mainly from the fridge. What I'm drinking is Mata Hari. It was a gift from a coworker. It's absinthe, but I also mixed it with some Hendrix gin because I was running low from Winter War because we got a little exuberant during those tournaments there.
Feel that. I feel that.
I got Holly to make me a rum runner. Just alcoholic fruit punch.
Hell yeah. Like a Capri Sun.
Love it.
Just fun drink.
Hell yeah.
I've been doing that a lot with vodka.
Just straight vodka?
No, I do cherry vodka, orange vodka, and then mix it with pineapple juice, orange juice, and grenadine.
There you go.
Mm.
That's good.
Mm. Call it the Hound's Blood.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Mm.
God damn.
I'm just hammering this because we're on screen and
It's Blade Master secret formula.
That's right.
yeah.
It's like the Krabby Patty.
Just drink more absence. There you go. Secret of youth.
I appreciate you boys having me out here tonight. I really do. I was watching last time and like your niche for this podcast. I am that niche. Fucking
Yeah.
red, not just foam fighting, not just LARPing, but red sword within LARPing. Oh, sorry, foam fighting.
That's fine.
The essence. You're the embodiment of it. So it's only natural.
Listen, so like, I had my mentors too, and my idols too. You know what I'm saying? Like Xiao Xiao, Saw, fucking Dark Angels back in the day. Gave me this fucking little red sword boner. I was just a wee boy on the Ragnarok field, you know?
Oh, Dark Angels. That's a name I haven't heard. So,
Yeah,
they still a thing?
they are. I got buddies that are Dark Angels, but you know, it's just the generational shift, man.
What it is. All right. So where we starting? What we doing, boys?
So, Evias, you want to talk about how you got into red fighting, what inspired you, maybe any sort of like historical or cultural inspirations?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it really does build on what I was just saying about Xiao Xiao, Soth, and TG of the Dark Angels. Back in the day, I've been fighting for about 17 years, going on 18 years now. And like I said, getting old, I got a good skincare regimen though. And, you know, I look back at those guys when we first started the whole Blade Masters thing, which was also a beautiful moment at the Ides of March, RIP. The first thing I said when I think, you know, Aridin, you were there when you approached us about it, Echo and I. The first thing I said was, you know, if we're going to claim the title of Master, Xiao Xiao, Soth, and TG need to also just have a default entry into that. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that.
Yep, I do.
And those guys, I mean, truly inspired, I think, the whole fucking thing. They way back when, and I'm starting to sound like an old man here, we had Jessica in every fucking Four Horsemen at Ragnarok, and this is like the old side of Ragnarok. Rag 23 was when I really got inspired and switched over to Red Sword, and R.I.P. Dagger here, by the way. But also fucking burn forever. So,
Goodbye.
No more.
But it was a Four Horsemen where fucking Dark Angels showed up, full ninja brig, head to toe. They had full on samurai helmets, handmade out of leather, fucking incredible artistry, pocket brig over their entire bodies, each one of them holding a Minred.
Wow.
Yeah, man, fucking insanity. And feel free to interject here. I don't want to just ramble on about this story.
No,
here.
please.
No.
This is your podcast now, Elias.
Yeah.
I
This
mean,
is if biased or dead.
Yeah, and they roll out there and they just beat the ever living shit out of these fuckers. Jessica's got fucking destroyed. They had their full back in the day. The meta was a 3 foot wide by your chin to your ankles tower shield strap with a flail, max length flail, and they came in with and they came in with these fucking Minreds, destroyed them with style, and looked sexy. I mean, these dudes, like, all three of them were jacked, covered in, like, indie boy, sad boy tattoos, and, like, almost 7 feet tall.
Nice.
Very nice.
So that's where it started.
Very cool. And I think everybody has that moment in their foam fighting where they're just like, just beautiful.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess what was yours?
I think, are we talking like, I think probably for me, the best like moment that I could kind of like be like, fuck, like red fighting is like the thing ever. And I tell the story a lot. I went to Ides. I hung out with you and like watched you fight. This is a true story. I'm not just sucking your dick.
Love you, baby.
I went to Ides and like I went back and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do red. Like I'm gonna learn red and I kind of like watch videos and stuff. And I went to like a local practice. And there was not a lot of like really good fighters. But there was like people, and it kind of goes to that like big shield like meta that was there for a while. There was a guy, he was like 6 foot tall. His name was Dubé. I'll never forget it. And he had like a giant shield, right? And I remember switching to the Minred. And I was just like fighting, and like I just kept getting murdered, like over and over and over. And one time he like came up, and I like hit the shield for like a kind of like to get him to react so that I could come into a block. And like he bit it, and it was just that perfect like hit, block, sidestep, and then just right past his shield that moved over into his like body. And it was just like one of those moments where you're just like, oh, that felt so good. And from then on, like it's just been beautiful.
Dude, that's what I feel like. That's the addiction, right? You're not, especially when the most romanticized version is that fucking Minred, which I just whenever I'm using a 5-footer now, I just tell people it's a Minred and they keep calling me out.
Well, that's everyone's new Minred.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, true.
We should be humble up here.
I've got a question. I've got kind of a cool like point because like that's kind of like my like got me hooked into like red. Did you have like a moment, Evias, where you were like just maybe starting out or something using red? Was there like a moment where it kind of like clicked for you? Like maybe not just like watching somebody else, but like for you fighting. Like, did you have a moment where you were just kind of getting into like red sword or for whatever reason it just kind of clicked? You're like, oh, this is my thing,
Yeah, I did. So, the story about the Dark Angels fucking cleaning house, that happened at a really pivotal time in my life, right? So, like, I had been fighting, I started with Glaive, one of the old Othellan fucking 8-foot,
yes.
what they're called now. You know what I'm talking about. Dirty Thor. And I was a pirate. I got to represent my homies. I still got the Jolly Roger, and the anchor on my tooth. But so I literally, it was literally an ord in my mind. But I fought with this heavy thing. I'm pretty sure it's probably caused like shoulder and back spinal damage for my life. I mean, this thing is like felt like it was 30 fucking pounds. But I figured out how to use that and make it effective. And I switched over. I was bored because I was like, all right, so everyone's really into dueling, you know what I mean? Like it's all about these like elite fighters on the side of the field, like pairing off and like trading blows. And I couldn't do that with Glaive, right? So switch over to sword and board for a few years. I get really into that, and I got to be really good at sword and board, but mainly because I was like using the new good technology, and like 95% of the game was. So
I remember some of your old sword and board stuff. I used to watch it when I first started doing the game.
don't follow any of that.
You're back using sticks and slings. And then we went up to PVC. Is that how it works?
Yeah, they were all using their bullshit PVC, and we were like, we finally found Kite Spar, and it was like this
Game
secret.
changer.
Yeah, it was bullshit. But anyways, did that for a couple of years. I was on the field and I saw that fucking moment where they slaughtered everybody, and I was like, I'm doing fucking Red Sword. And let me tell you, it was miserable. Fucking Minred, going to Minred, everyone, first of all, back then, it wasn't even a combo. You didn't fight Minred. That wasn't like a thing. Red as a class, even Glaives were neglected. Like people thought it wasn't possible. I was told by like all my mentors in the game to switch weapons. And I was, kind of always have a problem with authority. So I said, fuck you. But I did it because I'm a nice guy. And I threw a shield on my back and grabbed that Minred because it was the only way to get to 24 ounces or around back in the day with solid, that the only core that would make it work, right?
Yep.
And I was fucking absolute trash for about 2 years.
That's impossible.
Or maybe years. It was horrible. Truly. And then I went, I was studying and doing archaeology, and I went to Israel, and in Israeli archaeology isn't like little, like you're not brushing shit. They're like, dig a hole like 8 feet down in a week, and you're using a pickaxe the whole time. So I used a pickaxe for like a month, and I came back, and that's when they started working.
All right, so that's
Fucking
the strat.
anime training art.
That's the strat. All right, everybody in
Yeah.
chat, you just gotta start pickaxing the ground.
All right, everybody,
There we
you need a time skip. You need an anime time skip.
Training
It's
montage.
It's true. I literally used a pickaxe on boulders. They were like, we gotta break these boulders, and you're a young boy, and you're fine.
You're a real life anime like protagonist.
That's so awesome.
Big boy. But so I came back from that, and the first battle I came back, I did what I call an old English, which is just like the fade away into that like hanging guard into the chop with all the momentum. Yeah, it's a pickaxe movement.
Yeah.
And I chopped through someone's chainmail. I ripped through every single ring in the front and hit him in the chest and made him bleed, and my sword was still fine. So that was the moment that I never turned back. I've been fighting with Red ever since.
That's beautiful. I never knew. So I've seen you do the old English, and I'm very familiar with it. But I never knew that it kind of originated as a pickaxe movement, which is pretty great. And it makes sense. Like looking at it with that knowledge, I'm like, okay, like that.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
That is definitely a pickaxe movement. That
I go digging for soul.
Dig that soul.
Digging for souls. Yeah.
But that whole evolution though, like back then, I felt like the only path forward with the weapon combo was brutality, and so I really was just dropping that pickaxe into people's sword side upper quadrant here to simultaneously disable, like we do now, but simultaneously disable their sword arm and just crush through whatever's going on. And I've many years of progress, I've gotten away from that, but it's still a core component, I think, that you should always have in your arsenal to this day.
What would you? I guess we'll just compound on to let's ask Evias juicy stuff to learn all of his dark secrets.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's look behind the mirror.
Right. What smoking mirror? What would you say is probably like your biggest like weakness currently? Like as far as like fighting things, like what gives you the most trouble? I mean, like outside of like I guess like an obvious like answer, but like what do you kind of struggle with like currently with today's like technology and fighting? I know like times have changed so much past min reds that weigh 24 ounces, and that's kind of like the only way you could do it, and big shields, and now it's just everything's carbon and light. Has kind of like what do you struggle with now as opposed to maybe what you struggled with back then fighting against?
It's a great question. We have such an arsenal available to us now, right? I've got from 4 feet to 8 feet, and they all weigh 24 ounces.
Right.
So we've got this great mix here. So honestly, I think the most effective, and I think you guys may have touched on this in your first episode, the most effective weapon combo. Dueling, it does have some weaknesses. I think what Fox said was the leg chops, but on the field is a 6-footer with a forward shield, and I'm not afraid of a pole arm. Spears. I mean I've spent over a decade blocking spears trying to kill me. I know how to deal with spears. I'm going on one side or the other, and I'm taking control. Glaives, they don't have the speed and agility that I have, and I stay the fuck away from them. And I get them when they're not looking.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
I think that's everybody.
Right?
Pick your fights. Like,
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. I don't have to fight you, but
I'll be back. And
I'll come back.
Sword and borders, I'm not afraid of a sword and border. But it's that 6 foot. It's essentially a sword and border with a 6-foot red.
Yep.
So they outrange and they have forward protection. And I think that combination is probably the most difficult puzzle to solve while on the field. In one-on-one, if you're able to match that length, it's a whole different thing. But it's just a powerhouse combo, man. It's a kingmaker. It wins tournaments and it destroys people on the field. It's a strong combo.
And when you say forward shield, like for those maybe who don't know, you mean like right arm pushed forward, shield on side, or are you talking?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So the right arm shield. When I fought Glaive way back in the day, I cut out a rectangular version of that and used that for a long time, and I thought I was a cheater because it just did so much passive defense. And then we evolved to these like the massive rounds, and they're just so good. It's just so good. It's not overpowered or anything. It's just a different tool.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of preaching about stuff like that like for years. I'm just like, look, like to me, like the most effective like War God tournament setup is like 5 to 6 foot red, like arm shield, full armor. Like
Yep.
it's
is.
very difficult to handle. And like I don't think people realize too, like just how I guess like it is like it's easy to get into that like I guess like mindset of just using it. It kind of can be a crutch, but like it is like at the high level, like it is very difficult to handle.
So
It's a tool.
So
Yeah.
Crash is asking about the 8-foot full blade with the forward shield. So you think that's worse than the 5.5, 6 foot, or you think it's better?
Well, it's I have an easier time with it because I can close them easier, and with an 8-foot weapon, even on the field especially, you're using their weapon against them and their friends. So you're able to block zones using their pole. So they start this like they're trying to do this chop game. You just step in and just take over the quadrant they start in, and you're going to have more agility bringing your sword into the quadrants they move in. While you're blocking, you're still outside of the range of the other opponents unless they have like a spear buddy. At which point you get the fuck out of there. But I have a harder time with the 6er because they still have the agility to compete with me, and I can't take control of their weapon. If that makes sense. That's just my experience.
Oh yeah,
Perfect
yeah,
sense.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
I think that the glaive, like the longer glaives, like obviously like now you can get them pretty close to 24 ounces, and that's what makes them kind of scary. But I still think like at the high end of like red sword fighting, a glaive, an 8-foot glaive versus like high end red sword fighter. Like let's say it's Evias. So even Evias with a glaive, 1-on-1 versus Evias with like a 6 foot or 5 foot. The 5 to 6 foot should win generally. Like
Mhm.
it's the same kind of concept, it's just faster. Now on the field, that's a different story. That's when it gets a little more difficult to handle because
Depends on the scenario. Depends on the packing of the bodies. I mean,
Yeah.
I had an event last weekend, an indoor event up in Michigan. It's cold as fuck, boys. So we rent like those indoor soccer arenas, and we just had an event there. And I fought my go-to right now for field fighting is a 5.5er with back shield. But I did when things felt a little compact, I was using my full blade, flat blade, 8-foot. You know, I definitely put it through its uses once more glaives filled in. I mean, that's just sometimes you have to grab the tool you need for the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
There's something about those big poles. I'd use Crash's 8-foot, and I don't know. I guess maybe it's my body type or the way I fight. I just don't like using them. I'd rather just have a regular spear. But for some people, it's great.
Yeah, your stab
are awesome.
Your stab's gonna still get. It should be getting like 80% of your kills.
Yeah.
And I personally just enjoy. I still like I call it an 8-foot sword because I'm a fucking weeb that loves guts and berserk, and it is a sword because I ordered it as one, but it's a glaive, functionally. But I have a lot of good muscle memory from using one for years, so there are a lot of interesting back chops and lures you can do with it that I like to just fuck around with, and you know. I know it's some bullshit, and our rules probably should change. I'm in support. I'm in support of no shield breaking above 6 feet. I'm fully in support of that as a concept. But for now, I don't break shields anyways. But just having the threat of that, it's just they're so good. They're like the one I have is 26 ounces, and I can switch between the form and mechanics of a glaive / spear pole. And immediately when someone tries to move in on me, I switch to my min-red movements, and I'm able to pull the same jukes and speed as I would on a min-red, which is busted as fuck. But you know, they're out there.
Was it a sword that you made, or did you buy the sword from someone?
It's a Hellcore, and it's a modified Optimum Arms from Brett. So
okay.
I'm a Hellcore lover. It's ever since I switched over to one a couple of years ago, the responsiveness where there's zero drag, you know, at 5.5 feet. Well, actually, watching the slow mo of that TikTok, there is actually some flex, but
it doesn't feel like there's flex.
Yes,
You're just too strong. You're just too strong.
Yeah, well, wired. But it's so responsive, which is what we want, right? We're trying to cut the fat off every single movement. And get it as clean as possible every time we repeat it. And I just kind of gotten addicted to them. I even build my min-reds out of them now, mainly because I'm a bougie bitch. But you know.
That's something that's I don't think a lot of people at the high end of great sword kind of like fighting, they really get like your core and the ability to flex, like how much it flexes actually plays a huge part in it. And if you don't believe that, go make a red off of PVC pipe and swing it, and then compare it to having the same weight core with no flex, and you will just see a complete difference. Because your blade has to catch up to you when it's flopping. Even if it's just a fraction off, that little bit of timing can make all the difference at the high end of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's kind of neat to see.
No, absolutely.
Progress into where we're at now, where there's carbons that have no flex. They weigh 24 ounces, and you can just make what pretty much your dream weapon. If you want to fight with 5 foot, there's an option for it. You want to fight with a red, go for it.
I'm definitely on team no flex. I hate flexing swords.
You don't like flails?
No flail. Yeah,
5 foot flails.
I'll tell you though,
Let's go.
the red map fucking flails. Dude, I had a moment at Winter War. Fucking Vorn. I love Vorn. But a guy ran up to me. He swings a flail on me. It wraps around my handle. I put my thumb over the chain and I look him in the eye. Freaking Vorn runs up out of nowhere and shanks me with a golden dagger before I can do anything.
That's my
I was hesitating for dramatic.
Yep. That's my golden dagger.
That's your boy there.
I gave him that when he first became like my apprentice, and I was just like, you need to collect souls with this dagger. So apparently it's got a blade master soul.
Got a very. Oh yeah, and it was a fully engorged blade master soul.
Yeah, he got me pretty good that I went to. He's sneaky.
That's one of those like moments
But
where you're just beautiful. You catch people off guard. You're like, I've got the chain, and I just like, I want to know how that story ends if Vaughn didn't shank you.
Yeah.
well, I was gonna rip that motherfucker out of his hands. You know what I mean? Like, and then what I would do is I would motion. I'd be like, pick it up, and then I'd stab him while he was doing that, and I'd laugh, and then he'd yell that I had no honor, and I'd be like, I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry, it's for the TikToks. For the TikToks.
That's one of my favorite things to do is body check somebody. Like they come running in real hardcore, especially like a real like slender built person. They just come running in like they're gonna charge you and just like bam! And instead of just like murdering them on the spot, you just like look at them and you just let them get up and then re-engage.
That or step over them and keep walking.
Yeah.
Damon, are you teabagging people on the field?
All the time. Anytime I can.
Dude, it's 2022. You just don't let Dyer get that on film or anything.
That's true.
No, you get it on film.
He'll protect it.
Yeah.
Be TikTok.
I'll blur up their face.
The TikTok.
Yeah, honestly, Damon would immediately become TikTok famous.
Look, man, people charge Shay. You gotta show them where they're at. You know.
True that.
Dude.
Sir Damon, the teabagger.
Yeah, got that guard dog up.
Yeah.
But before I forget so we're talking about flexing cores.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have a thesis that the weapon that benefits the most from the current rigidity is the 5.5 flat blade. It just is so responsive. It like once it hits 6, I'm starting to get a little more drag with just as the cores are now. They'll probably improve, but right now 5.5 is just
very good.
It's just just tasty. You can still do the fancy bullshit, but you can also bring in a lot of power, and you can fight at a range that no one can just counter it. You know what I mean? It's just so great.
Yeah, that's actually what I've been using is 5.5 flat blade.
They're nice, aren't they?
Yeah. I got Gorg to make mine a little bit different than what he makes everybody else's, but it's just been perfect. So.
5.5 is a good link because I mean you're gonna be able to fight in any red tournament where they separate it into 2 categories, which I think that they should, for the record. And I don't know, it's just like it's a good link to where you can still pretty much do everything you want to do, but you don't really have to sacrifice anything. Once you get to 6 feet, I feel like there's some things I can't do quite as good. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I with Bulvar up here while we've been training, he's really good on a 6, and I just feel like once you hit the 6 foot level, it does become a glaive. Philosophically, the way that you're standing, what you're trying to set up, it just becomes a glaive, and you lose a lot of the agility.
Megan's asking, what length do you switch from Omni to flat blade?
I only use flat blades. I'm not anti Omni at all. I love Omnis. I think they're an incredible weapon and have a massive amount of you just constantly have all these options. Like it's a trickster's weapon in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like you're able to keep your center line, and as they move in, you can give them a slap, you can deliver a chop. You know, you've got a huge array of options. But as I've gotten older and as I've spent more time fighting, I find that responsiveness and a lower profile with proper technique and timing will always win. You need to have the quickest weapon, not the most versatile. And that's just for my approach. I'm not saying that's applied to everyone, but that's where I've kind of headed towards. And so I use a weird combination of a round handle with a flat blade, and I just find
that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I trained in Iaido and a couple other sword martial arts when I was younger, and the handles were round and a lot of things we were training with. So I got used to just, when it's oblong, I think oblong is technically just always going to be a better option when you're fighting with a flat. But I've just gotten so used to the hand feel of being able to roll it into position, and I can still get those flat wraps and odd angles by just rolling it within my hand and fingers and just repositioning the blade. Long answer, but I use a flat blade for everything.
It's like Frank's Red Hot sauce, but
Exactly.
I like that sriracha. Let's go.
Also, they look fucking cool.
Yeah, classic.
What else are you here for at this point? You know what I'm saying?
I think the Switch is all personal preference. For the longest time, it was like, oh, if it's 6 foot plus, gotta have an Omni. But now that Reds are so much lighter, so much better, you could have an 8 foot flat blade. You can have a 6 foot flat blade, still be fine. But if you're newer, I definitely think do Omni everything until you're used to it, or just start real small. Start with mins, 55s, 5 foots with flats, then progress larger as you get older or more experienced.
That's the right answer. The tech has really taken us to a point where you can apply it, but the new flat blades are so fine that you need to spend a lot of time drilling that precision before you really want to make that switch, because it will rob some things from you. It really does.
Yeah.
I'm team flat blade for sure. Like that is, I have Omnis. Like I have a red. We have a red for every occasion.
Oh yeah.
But
you got
it.
it.
I found that I tend to do best with a flat. Even it doesn't matter if it's at min. I mean, up to 6 foot, because I think anything again above 6 foot is what I consider like a support, kind of like pole weapon. And that's when I will start using that. But I think for like the finesse style, like skirmishing where you're 1v1ing people, I prefer to have a flat. There's no right or wrong answer really, but preference. But
I think with an Omni at 8 feet, you have more. I mean, you literally have omnidirectional threat, and as you're using, in general with great weapons, your entire purpose is to be exuding threat constantly. So if you can exude threat in 360 degrees from the point of your weapon, you're doing your job right.
Yeah. I kind of want to ask one more thing. This is mainly for like new fighters or people that are maybe wanting to grow their red game, and I figured they definitely want to hear it from you before I'm kind of keeping track on time so we can watch video or whatever we want to do. But what kind of advice do you give like for people that want to get better at red? Like, is there like a certain thing that you truly believe kind of will escalate you to like a better level? Or like some kind of advice maybe you could give some newer red fighters that are wanting to get good at it, like maybe some things you did or recommend that they do to get better?
Yeah. It really is I think to pursue red as a path, you need to be a bit of a masochist. Because, I mean, and it's philosophically, you have to be drawn to the concept that it has an incredibly high skill floor and an incredibly high skill ceiling, but if you can get there, the amount of carnage you can unleash is no one else can even touch that. So first things first is just make sure that you're a good fit for the weapon, like mentality wise. Is that what you want to do? It can also be used in a lot, like when I'm talking reds specifically, I'm talking about 5.5 and under. Glaives are its own thing. It's a support weapon. There's a lot of philosophies that can go into that. So I'm not trying to turn anyone away from the glaive in that way. But I feel like if you're trying to hit that like weeb ass, like wandering swordsman warlord energy, what you do need to do is you got to fight with a min red. And I'm in a min red. I'm pretty open to like 5 and under. I mean, at this point, right? How do you guys agree on that?
Yeah. I agree 100%. Like maybe not min in today's like technology, but 4 to 5 foot is what I would consider like the shortest length of red that you can get away with.
Okay, I'm glad you guys are on the same page, and I think that has a lot to do with the technological evolution. Just to keep up at all, to be okay at all, I think 5 is a great place to start. And
nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Dear Lord. And when I say you have to be a bit of a masochist, it's because you really do need to stick to that 5 and under for a long time without a front buckler to really understand the true fundamentals of the weapon. And if you don't make that journey, which is painful, but also like if you're like, it's like the Dark Souls of weapons. Like if you get off on like trying really hard and making very little gains, but all of a sudden once you get it, it clicks and it feels incredible and looks incredible, it's the right combo for you. But it really is just working on those fundamentals at a shorter length and not abusing the length advantage that you have, but using the aggressiveness, shot selection, and intensity that you can hold within you. And then once you figure that out, you can switch up to like a 6 or 8 footer and just unleash hell on people. But that's the philosophy I kind of taken in the game that has helped lead me to success with the weapon, I think.
Start short, move up to big. I think that's one thing that probably everybody here can agree with is that
Oh,
weapons,
100%.
Red sword, it's easy to transition from short to long. It is a whole different ball game to go from 8-foot glaive to a min red. You will get shit all day. Yeah, you'll be like, I'm having a really bad time. So
yeah, and that's the masochist part, right? So you do have to push through, but once and I anybody who's starting that's listening, like truly, once you hit that moment where the moment where I cut through the chainmail, or when Aridin dropped that hanging guard, it slides off like a goddamn anime character, and you deliver that. Like that moment will happen. It'll happen faster than you think it will if you keep with it. And once you have it, that's the only dragon you need to chase. It's going to be in your head forever, and you're never going to get away from it. So, in nothing else will give you that feeling. So, you're essentially trying to manipulate yourself chemically into that moment that then drives you onward for the rest of your fighting.
I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, there's no better feeling than as a guy that used to be like pretty hardcore into sword and board, like I've tore through tons of people like with sword and board, and it feels good, but like there's just a feeling about just having you and like both hands on a weapon and just you're one with that sword, and it is just as much, it's your blocker, it's your shield, and it's your attacker. And there's just something about that. It's something magical about that when you're on the field. Like it just feels way different than just skyhooking the shit out of like 10 people in a row and going, okay, cool, I did it again. Like they took
especially if you can get a good run on a line.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Well, I feel like Evias can probably attest to this. It's like I feel like every kill with a red takes a little bit more effort than a lot of people take. They take that for granted. Like with a board, you've got like a good static defense. You've got like a good setup to where you can make mistakes and kind of recover from them. Because you got a giant not a giant shield, but you have a shield in the way. But with a red, like especially if you're using a back shield and you're not using that buckler, your margin of error is much different. And understanding that, like your kills just to me are meaningful. It doesn't mean that like sword and borders don't have value and stuff like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that when you get kills like as a red, every one of them you can get. I feel like it's easier to get murked by a noob with a red than it is with a sword and board, just because that margin of error is just so much different. Like there's just more ways to block.
Like Kano chumping me.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
I was
you gotta have some bad times.
I was like, he's lefty.
Times.
Well, I'm out of the tournament.
No.
Just hit him in the legs. If it's like you don't just that's all you hit him in the legs. Like
double leg, man.
You're gonna get got though. That's like part of the combo. Eventually, you're gonna get got.
Yeah.
Right. Anime red users are the worst. They'll be like, all right, if I go to fake a shot, they're like, all right, cool, time to roll. It's like, well, that's not what you were supposed to do. I was trying to fake your guard, and they're like, no, I'm gonna fucking roll and backspin. And then you're dead. And you're like, how did I just die? You've been fighting for like 1 day.
So let's keeping on.
Do it, yeah. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. So Evias, I have questions for you in our itinerary, but what does it mean to be a Blade Master? You're one of the OG 7, the 7 deadly sins of Blade Masters.
Yeah, man. I think it's a great question to follow up what we were just talking about, which is purity of intent and an intensity of focus and an ability to endure discomfort. It's built around the desire to, you know, we're all nerds here. If you got within you the energy to click the hardcore box on Diablo 2, that's the same energy. If you're entering a realm where you're trying to master a weapon where you have no forward defense, and it's all reliant on your absolute like your footwork, in just the purity of the style itself. So that's what it is to me. It's really just the pursuit of perfection. And we'll never get it right. We'll never get there. But it's just the concept of pushing yourself as a lifestyle. Like this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life, like it or not. I wish I was born with like the same interest in accounting as I was like, swords, but I'm not. But it's just an acknowledgement of that part of yourself and the pursuit of mastery for the end of your days, right? And the application of that focus and attention spreading into your everyday life as well. Not within a circle, but taking the lessons of focusing on this. It's almost like Buddhist, right? Like on the purity and the enlightenment of one path, that you can learn lessons from it and apply it to others. That's what it is to me.
Well said.
Beautiful.
Maybe too intense, but
No,
No,
I'd
perfect,
rather it
actually.
be intense than not.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Big deal. So
Yeah,
carrying on
yeah.
from there, what so for your house, Smoking Mirror, what is the lore or history or generalized statement? Like, what is the style? What makes you, as a Blade Master, with you and Bolvar as Smoking Mirror Blade Masters, the way you are?
Again, it's all about the pursuit of an ideal, right? And
Yeah.
and the idea for us is I just want to create beauty. I want to create stunning displays. I spent a long time. I mean, since I was like 11 years old, I've been organizing like stick fight pits, and then we transitioned to live steel. Sent too many people to the hospital, and then got into foam. And through all that, there was plenty of one-on-one dueling, which is it's like this magnificent art. But the combination of that and just the carnage and beauty you can spread across the field. Like the flow. It's almost like a dance. You know what I mean? And that's where I come from. And what motivates me in our house, the House of the Smoking Mirror. And it's again, Bolvar coming in as a master, me doing it for a long time. We still have so much to learn, and we can improve on it so much. But that's the idea. But like on a more weeb level, just straight up ninjas, man. We're the fucking shinobi of the Blade Masters. I remember there's a pivotal moment like a couple Orc Wars ago. It was the Orc Wars right when COVID was happening, and I was like, I'm gonna pretend this doesn't exist because I want to go fight
Yeah.
that one.
That was a good Orc Horse.
That was the best Wars.
That was a good one.
Until this coming year.
Oh,
Wait,
you right.
So yeah, the Dirt Doge is gonna represent down there. But I that at the end of that event, I had hypertension and like swelling in my shoulders so bad I couldn't pull my bed sheets over me for a year and a half.
Oh.
So I needed that break. I think I did over 250 Red Sword duels.
Damn.
It was too much. But anyways, there was a moment there where Datsun, I was on the field and I was fighting multiple people from Ebb and Light, and I pulled what I was talking about earlier, where I knocked the web. I just like pickaxe chop his sword right above his handle, knocked it out of his hand, and I was like, "Go ahead, pick it up." And as he went down, I stabbed him in the heart. And he started screaming at me about honor. I was like, "You're dead. You don't get to tell anybody about honor." I have to tell everybody I was as honorable as possible. And that like philosophy, like the House of the Smoking Mirror, like it's deception and feints. And I think at Orc Wars, I didn't break a single shield. It's about moving around and taking their mind, not their body, and winning that one.
That is a philosophy that has stuck with me because I remember you telling me that way back in Ides of March. Like it was like I don't break shields, and I was like, I don't get it. I was like, you have a sword that literally breaks shields, and you're like, you don't need to. And I've always tried to like explain it. I was like, it's like that movie, like I don't know if people like the movie or whatever, but the Wanted where you curve the bullet. It's like go around the shield. You don't need to go through it. Like there's plenty of options that you have to, open up somebody's body without having to break the shield. And if you need to break it, it's always there. But like, yeah, like I actually love that like philosophy of a lot of the top end red is just you don't need to break it. Like you can, but you exert a lot of energy to break a shield. Way less to do that if you can just make them out. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I remember that conversation, and I'll have to say, man, other than you exemplify that philosophy, and you've taken it to the next level. So it's a beautiful thing, and it proves that it works.
It does.
I honestly forget that we can break shields half the time.
Yep.
Not gonna lie. It's just like, oh yeah, where'd your shield go? It's like, oh, you broke it. Like, nah, pick it up.
Honestly, like, there's so many times on the field where I'm like, actually, that wasn't right. I'm just trying to hit you. I didn't hit you, but I wanted to. Don't even count.
I'll usually go for a red shot on a shield if I leg them. Like if I leg them and I know there's no threat, because like I mean, when you try to break a shield, at least in my humble opinion, I think that red nowadays with the technology getting so light, it's almost made the red, like what's considered a red shot, a little like shitty. And I don't think a lot of people nowadays it's just tap tap tap. And I'm like, to me, a red shot is a hard hit, and you have to kind of like almost you have to put yourself in danger. Like so that's why I think a lot of that philosophy behind it, like Evias was talking about, was you don't need to break the shield, because back when that philosophy was very relevant, it was using a much different technology, and to deliver what's considered a hard hit, you had to put yourself out there. You had to swing and wind up to hit it. And so I think definitely the game is a little different now, and I still believe that hard hit is going to put you at a little bit of a risk. So it's kind of
actually around where I fight, I tell people if I'm not deliberately yelling red really loudly, do not count my red shots as a shield breaking, because I am not trying to break the shield.
I'm the same way. I locally I'll say red if I'm redding, but otherwise it's just a long ass sword.
Yeah, it's a long blue.
Yeah, and but you're right. I mean, that's a really good that's a good analysis, Aridin, of like it was driven by technology originally, because back when we were fighting with the min reds, you had to deliver a full on shield shattering blow, and I'm not making any judgments, because I love the game as it is now, but the integration of Amtgard with this highly technical fighting and lighter calibration has really brought the expectation of the chops down, along with the technology. And I personally, I'm like a boomer level now. I feel like I'm like the boomer.
The boomer red fighting.
Master advice over here.
Exactly. But the problem is like, what is hard? I mean, it's hard to define, and I think it does come down to body mechanics, and but personally, the way I approach it over the years is just if it's not a full on like you know when it's red, you'll tell me when it's red.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, when it comes to Four Horsemen War God, I'm just gonna call red every shot. Might as well take that advantage.
Yep. That's the dark side of red, which is is you can unload a psychological burden upon your opponent by throwing so many scorekeeping LARP points at them that they become frozen, which I don't like to exploit. But if we're working within a min-max tournament setting, that is what you do.
Yep. Agreed.
So, Evias, what do you see as your future? What is the future of Evias?
Wow, damn. So I'm turning 36 in about a month and a half here, and I'm actually feeling really good. The game has motivated me, and I think we can all, everybody here, everyone listening, it's motivated me as a big ass nerd to stay in shape.
Yeah.
So,
I lost 40 pounds my first year doing this sport.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah. I did a copious amount of steroids.
You look great from them, but like when I was in high school, I weighed, I'm like a slight frame. I'm like 5'9". Right now I'm like 185 or something. In high school, I was like 230, man. I was a big boy, no muscle, and I think coming into this really taught me how to respect my body, but also gave me this motivator to get, because like I don't want to look like a chump, to get stronger and leaner and better. And I think that's the future. I mean, I'm using this as I don't know. I'm going to be around for as long as I'm going to be around. If I'm never going to stop fighting. Again, going back to, it's so ingrained in me and you guys that we're never going to stop this shit. And it's just going to take different iterations.
Facts.
Because without it, what's up?
That's facts.
Yeah, right? Facts. And so it's like, no matter what style and iteration it is, we won't be whole without it at this point, right? For better or for worse. And I think it's all for better. And for me, I'm going to begin, in our game, I truly love more than anything, because you can't find it anywhere else, field fighting. I just, it's an exhilarating place that is unlike any other. And I'm going to do that as long as my body allows me. But as of now, and I know some other people like Dozer and a few other people I know have moved towards it. For the one-on-one and tournament, I'm going to move into HEMA for training, just as a slower. And then I'm also going to be doing kendo. I want to integrate essentially different like levels of impact and speed and technique that I can just be practicing until I'm like in my 80s. And that's what's next. I mean, I'm just trying to keep that long shot. Nothing can replace what we have. The culture and the friendship, and the drama and the beauty, the artistry of this game and this culture that we're in. Nothing can replace that. But yeah, that's the long-term future. Maybe that's way too out there. I guess I could talk about like next year, but I guess I've just committed to it and realized it is part of me, and it's never going to go away. So I'm in it for the long run.
To that.
Yeah, I think we're all in that boat that we will literally red till we're dead.
Yeah.
Till we can't pick up a red.
Is that the name of the podcast?
He just said the name of the podcast.
He just did.
I did.
But on like a less dramatic note, right now, like going into next year, Dirt Dojo, we're about to start again on December 8th. I'm renting this old, like, cool, badass, like, Detroit Kung Fu training, like, dojo in Detroit here, in the neighborhood I live in, Southwest. And we've got just an awesome, again, going back to community, just a great community of people coming together. The winters are long and dark in Michigan, and it's just nice to go fight and then, go drink a few beers afterwards. So that's really what I'm looking forward to right now, is just getting that training going. And then I'm coming into Orc Wars hot, baby. I want to come in there like 120%, not even 110.
There you go.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not gonna lie, I love watching the Dirt Dojo videos at wintertime in that actual kung fu place. Some
Mind,
good times.
Yeah.
Mind plugging the TikTok and all that, like where everybody that's listening can.
Oh
check it out?
yeah, absolutely. So Dirt Dojo is all over. Like, it's on Facebook, TikTok, and it's on Instagram as well. And that's run by a few of my buddies. It's just our kind of like foam fighting collective that we've got. Everybody's in different units. But I also have a TikTok that I've got some stuff that I'm going to be posting soon as well from that. It's red sword focused, and it's just if you're learning the weapon combo, I break down just some of the key movements and philosophies there, and it's just Evias, EVIAS .blade, BLADE, and that's my TikTok, and I'm gonna keep adding more, but mostly it's just kind of breaking it down for the niche of people that are listening to this kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Right on.
So looking at not only the future of yourself, but what is your thought process on the futures of the other Blade Masters and the Blade Master program in general?
I'm incredibly excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at you, Fox.
Oh what?
It's been this labor of love for so long. Again, like it's a lifestyle. So finding these people, like-minded people like yourself, and Boulevard, Datsun, and Luster, ascending. It's just the reality is that's just the beginning of your journey. that's when you put on that red cape, it just shows you when you look at it that you need to get better every day. And if you're not keeping it up, you're not honoring it, and you're not honoring those who came before you. So, and I feel that way too. Every time I put it on, I'm like, the feeling of, not inadequacy, but kind of imposter syndrome, never really goes away.
No.
Never. And it's just another layer of motivation. And I'm just so excited about it. I think we're creating a whole new culture. To be completely honest with you guys, I don't know if I'd still be in this game without you. This culture and I love you guys. I really do. I mean, I love you, all of you. I mean, it's truly, and it's like, great, kind-hearted people with pure intent, and truly just pushing to make themselves better, to make the martial art of it all, because it is what we are. I mean, it is becoming a martial art in its own weird fucking way. To improve that, and just to keep that the tightness of it all. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we have a really cool clique, and there's a lot of just motivation that we bounce between ourselves. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what I hope from it. It's just that the same, and I don't, it's not even a hope. I know it's happening. It's just that same energy pushing forward into the future. And that once my joints are long and ground out, the people you're training now will be there. You're doing the same thing.
Well said. I mean, I think that embodies like just Blade Master mentality. When we originally started talking about doing the thing, it was like, hey, we want something that people, long after we're, washed up and done, that the game will still continue on with the same people, and it's about growing, the game, growing the next generation of like fighters, even if it's not us, and they're kicking our asses, we'll still be able to, to be there and go, cool, like we can now we can rest and move forward. It's a beautiful thing.
We lost our boy.
Oh no, no.
But no, absolutely. I mean, that is the now we can rest mentality. After seeing this first round ascend to the Blade Master level, it really did. I'm not gonna rest because it's not within me to do so. But when it comes to I don't know. I don't feel the same pressure to keep it alive. I know it's going to be. I know the flame is going to be tended to, and I'm going to be there to support that and to keep pushing forward the pursuit and the mastery. But now I'm a part of the community. I'm not holding it on my shoulders. You know, like not me, but us. The first generation is no longer holding it on our shoulders. We have the cavalry has arrived, and we're going to keep pushing it onward.
Yep, the burden has been spread out. Yeah. To be clear, we're never gonna rest. Like that ain't gonna happen. But it's nice knowing, many years into the future, it's like the art of using a great sword across like home fighting is in good hands. And that was kind of the spirit of it, was growing that game and always having an outlet for people that wanted to become a master. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So we're at 9 o'clock. What do we want to do? Moving on to do questions and then wrap it up, or what does it look like, Fox?
Yeah, no, that was the last thing. We ran out of time. If we had extra time, we'd go over the Trial of Masters for Winter War. But
I do want to acknowledge, because I really wanted to see Luster just jump my ass. It's just such an incredible fake and setup. So I just have to acknowledge that it was beautiful. I love you, Luster, and my God. So the fact that I just had to throw that out there.
Dude's a monster, man. I fight with him at least once a month, and every time he takes my lunch money.
I don't know if anybody's ever made me bite a real fake in years, and he got me on it. And it was great. But incredible duels all the way through.
Yeah. No, I think I couldn't see most of the fights because I was sitting on my knees the whole time, but
well, if you
from
want,
the video
footage, we can watch your part real quick.
Oh no, we don't have to, guys. I don't want to drag it out, but I just want to give Luster props for that because my God.
I'm here till whenever.
Same.
I ain't got shit.
All right, we can go through a couple clips then, Damon, if you
Sounds
want to
good.
set that up.
Yeah.
I just know our like soft cap is 9, but
Yeah,
yeah,
let's-
if we want
let's
to keep
run
going, keep
through-
going.
Yeah, let's run through a little bit of the video and then take questions and wrap it up.
Sure, yeah.
Y'all want to go
Solid.
slow speed or normal?
Your
Well, it's
biases
Luster,
against-
so you kind of have to go slow speed.
Right.
Go so fast.
Let's do some adjusting.
Yeah, when I approach Luster, I really like our combo. My style does counter a lot of what he's doing, which is disruption and trying to make people lose their cool. Because I'm just constantly resetting and trying to optimize my odds. But the fact that he was able to step in and we'll see in a moment. That it's a beautiful style, and like that's one of my favorite things about the houses that have been established is that it's like rock paper scissors.
And it was getting so dark.
Yeah, it
toward the,
was.
toward
This
the
is
end of the
after
show.
his trial where we had to where Rothgar and Datsun just beat the shit out of him for an hour.
I know. And he, man, what a monster! One of my foam fighting highlights of the last few years was watching Luster in the fighting pits at Armageddon at nighttime. I got shit faced, and I was screaming like a schoolgirl watching him just pull the craziest shit out of you.
He's a very beautiful like movements, and yeah, it's that house. Like that's what I love about like just like Blade Masters like houses. It's just like there's always that distinct little difference in each one, and it's very cool to see apprentices come up, and as a part of the house, they start to take on not only their own, I guess, style of that house, but it just kind of, I don't know. It's just always cool seeing them kind of ascend into that, like becoming their own, but yet also carrying on that legacy of who they trained from. It's just a very beautiful thing.
Absolutely. He gets me in the leg here, first right off the chop. We don't have to go through all of these, but I just had to give props to my boy.
Let's just run it. I mean, we can run it full speed if we want.
Yeah, we got the eyes. Our eyes are fast enough.
Yeah, look at that.
So he was telling me that I don't know if his rib got broken, or he had some bad bruising on his ribs from the trial
no.
beforehand. So yeah, he was like real hurt.
Oh yeah,
During this
yeah.
whole
I could
thing.
tell he slowed down. He's just an incredible fighter. I mean, so expressive. And taking like that art form, it's like his own art. It's really beautiful. I'm excited to see what he does with his house distortion.
Yeah. So edgy.
Dude, I get it. I'm an edgelord at heart, man. Props to Talon for fucking recording all this. Talon's a goddamn such an incredible contributor to all of foam fighting, and I just want to say, man, like Talon, if you're listening right now, thank you for being so supportive of the whole Blade Master thing, because you've taken what we've done and just brought order and a lot of organization, and I don't know, you really made it better without any benefit to yourself. So it's just you're amazing, man. Thanks for keeping the community so strong.
Yeah, for those that don't know, like Talon has compiled a lot of information, like from Blade Master houses and things like that. Just like in general, just like on his own accord. It's very, very appreciated. And if you ever see him, definitely give him a good thank you and pat on the back for helping the community. That's what makes all of us have that ability to do cool stuff like Blade Master and knighthood and all that stuff. With having people like him, going out of their way without really any kind of benefit and doing it. So. Give him
Plus, now
props.
he's an apprentice now to Ragefire.
Right. So
Incredible. A long time coming.
yeah, I mean for sure.
Well, you had to become a knight first, so you got to go one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frozen for me. So
Oh, don't. Yeah, don't. You don't have to drag it too much longer, boys. But I just wanted to acknowledge it. Like those fights were so incredible, and just the first ones ever. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited for how we iterate those in the future and how we streamline it. you know, it's the first time, literally the first time this has ever happened. So it's a little rough around the edges, but we're gonna come together and do some cool shit.
Yeah. That's the good thing about seeing the first generation kind of like ascend. Now it's like, okay, cool. We've got an idea of what works, what doesn't, and then moving forward, we have more brains and more, people coming into it, going, "Hey, these are ideas that we have," and it's like, "Oh, okay, cool. You guys are just, right along with us. Let's all communicate and make it even better for the next set." So it's a very cool thing to see. Yeah, video's frozen for me too, so it's all good.
Yeah, frozen.
Cool. Let it go.
Now it's working.
Die. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Yeah, but just some great.
He's gassed. You can
Yeah.
He's so.
But we're fresh. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
That's the plan, right? You make them kneel down so their knees hurt, and then
thanks.
you just fuck them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just a thing to make us look better, just for the record.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no,
Yeah. Listen, we got some more mileage on these chassis.
Put them on their knees, make them sit there for a while, let it get dark. Let them fight 100 fights and beat the shit out of them. It's like, oh, you guys did pretty good. Good job. You did okay, I guess.
No, yeah, man, it was so dark. I mean, it's even hard to see this video. In like Fox, like my memory of the trial with you, I literally can't even. There's no visual data.
Yeah.
I was just swinging his quadrants.
Yeah. So I actually wear glasses all day, and I fight without my glasses, and I can't wear contacts. So I fight blind all the time.
I don't know how you do it. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. It's crazy.
So I was talking to Ragefire about it, and he's like, he wears contacts when he fights, and one day he didn't. He's like, "Oh, is this what you feel like?" I'm like, yeah, man, I see blurs in front of me, and I just swing at quadrants.
Get goggles.
Yeah. That's
you
next
do
step.
goggles. No.
I've got
that's next
goggles. They look doofy as fuck. But
I'm the same
They're
way.
not-
I fight without contacts too, but I'm actually gonna get goggles and make a helmet and
We do.
working them into the
See,
helmet.
I actually have been training to go fight blind, so like I'm just gonna get a blindfold and put it over my. So I just want to really feel the blade and my surroundings.
Yeah, if you're actually good at Red Sword, you don't have to see to do it. You just feel
No.
around.
Yeah,
Sit
there's-
around.
You can smell their fear. There you go.
You snip them. Yeah, no, I wear contacts, so at like day to day at work, I'm wearing glasses for the most part. But contacts, I'm nearsighted, so yeah. If I go on the field, I won't fight. If I don't have a pair of contacts, I won't do it. And I'm not even my vision's not even that bad. I'm unable to accept the deficit of performance that bestows upon me after seeing through so long. You know what I mean?
But
It's mainly because fucking arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
you're here.
You're
Shit.
good.
We all live in the shadow of Shay's mercy.
That's true.
I swear, Ragefire is like the epitome of just like anime samurai blade master. Like I could just when I think of like what I would just like see as a fighter, like that's what it looks like to be like a great sword user. Like just
It brings so
Samurai
much power too.
yep, it's that fucking left-handed devil arms.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Ragefire did a clip of it, or not Ragefire. Sorry, Dyer with Come Try LARP did a clip of. It was like a longer clip of Winter War, but right in the middle, there's this little blade, like fucking Rage, just doing this crazy combo on somebody. And I don't throw combos. I don't do combos. But Ragefire does combos, and he uses them effectively, and they look like you're in a goddamn like weeb ass fighting game, and it's incredible. It's
I think that was his 5-piece chicken dinner combo, and it sucks.
God. Yeah, it looks like it.
Look at this
Well,
one-armed
Rage is
guy
at my
coming
local
up.
practice.
Well,
Yeah, that's a hell of practice you got.
whoa, look
Yeah.
at Mr. Sir Ard and the disabled.
Yeah. He still kicked your ass.
Can I say that?
Here, buddy.
I was trying to, like not look like hot shit out here.
I mean, I'm gonna just give it to you for doing it at all. If
Yeah.
my arm's not a commission, I'll be like, I'm the ceremonial blade master.
Well, like I've seen Luster like like kind of grow up from like a shitty red user into a god tier fighter, and I'm like, I just wanted to give him I guess like even if he's just kicking my ass at the end game, I was like I wanted to give him that like, hey, I respect you. Give me good fights. I was like, don't fucking go easy on me. Like if you kick my ass, you kick my ass. It's like because I'm gonna give you 100%. So it's just I wanted to give him something.
Yeah.
So and it was great. It put on a great show, and I feel you there. Luster he's got he's keeping the dream alive with that min red baby.
It's a beautiful thing. You just don't see it a lot anymore, and so I like seeing like that homage to the past. So.
Absolutely. And it's yeah. I mean, they just push through any of the like pushing into the strengths, which is strong outside abilities and disruption. You know what I mean? Like leaning into it, making it as good as it can be, and taking it in the future. It's pretty amazing.
Also great that he was like gassed. So.
Oh yeah, but he was putting on a show too, man. He was in a fucking Berserk manga. He was like in a panel there. 100 man Slayer energy.
And that's like really what it's all about is like, getting to that end game. It's just like push yourself, a little further than you are comfortable doing it and just kind of dig in deep. And he definitely did it. I love seeing like in these videos, you see, every one of us goes up to him and hugs him. And I know all of us said something different in his ear. Like, hey man, we're super proud of you. You're doing fantastic. Like you deserve to be where you're at. And like little things like that. You don't see it on the video, but those are all things that's just us beating him down, but at the same time hyping him up to just kind of go beyond and move forward with his past.
I mean, the whole thing took like over like almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking at the Blade Master group in Facebook, and I went back to look when it was created, and it's 2016. Yeah, so it's like that's when this all started, and he was already in the loop then. It was maybe not exactly at that moment, but already, like it's just been such a journey just to watch them grow and to like have them force us to grow. I mean, if there's one message I can say, I guess, about the whole Blade Master process is taking on Bolvar and really trying to learn how to teach and not just how to fight, and understanding, ego, not being driven by your ego, but being driven by a cleaner sense of purity and like a dedication to people and a cause. I mean, it made me grow as a human being. So I mean, it was a really emotional day in general. I mean,
it was a beautiful day. I just want to point out Dozer's enormous biceps and this,
oh, glorious! Look at those beautiful things.
He was injured, actually. He said that he had some surgery.
His nose is all fucked up.
Yeah. He got a fresh new nose.
Yeah, must be nice.
We both have the,
fucking Hawk boys. No, but he stuck in there and was like, you know what, we're gonna fight a little bit. So I know he was worried about that's why he only did a couple for those.
He did it. Once it got darker, he was kind of smart, intelligently he stepped out.
I'm one of those idiots. I'm just kind of if people are just like, hey, I'm doing a thing. I'm like, fuck it. If I get destroyed and my face gets fucked up, I don't care. Whatever. Let's just fucking go. I wish I had the willpower to just be like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do that. That's dumb.
I don't have that. No, I'll just let myself get hurt.
Yeah, just I'm stupid. Can't help it. Professional idiot. What was that? You were wanting some more? Was that you? I want some more?
Yeah. I told him to kill me one more time, and he took me out the first time.
That's perfect.
That's what I like to see.
Now, was it really just how many you want, or was there a set minimum or number, or just guys we'll just beat these kids up?
How many you want? Then it was driven by darkness. How long can we do this without a lawsuit? Kill somebody.
That's fair.
How long till somebody gets their face knocked off?
Oh, me? Yeah.
Sorry, but it was your neck.
No, yeah, it was my neck. It was neck.
Shouldn't have brought it to the fight. Should have left it at home.
Fainted 2, and now it's your turn? Is that how that works?
Yeah, leave the neck at home.
We were all
You decapitated me, man. I deserved it.
We were all coming too much because we were just so thirsty for battle. So he was the first one coming in. We're like, nah.
I even put my fucking anime like headband on.
Yes.
Those are out there with no swords.
Those are using his stand.
Yeah.
Shit. Great. I mean, just Winter War. This last Winter War was one of the best events in my like mere 18 years of fighting. I mean, it was just.
I agree. It was really good.
So good. Vibes were impeccable. Everybody. It was just. I just love all these people so much. The fighting was so clean. So good.
Ooh,
So many trials.
I mean, yeah.
So many trials.
It was a little too many trials, but hey, we had that long build up.
Mm-hmm.
It was long overdue. I remember like I did like my knighting ceremony and immediately like Ragefire was like, "Hey, we're doing the apprentice thing." I was like, "Okay, let's go. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
it's a lot
that
of
last
stuff.
fight you guys had was fucking bullshit with Fane and everything. I'm like, Fane's not even giving you guys mercy. He's like, I'm just using the clay. I don't give a fuck about these guys.
I will never forgive him, but I appreciate it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I appreciate it.
Such a sweetheart, but he'll fuck you up.
Like I said last time, dude's got monster hands. He ain't fooling
does.
around.
He
That
do.
boy, he can handle a Whopper for sure.
Oh, yeah.
100%. That boy can eat a Whopper.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's getting what 9:20. You guys?
Yeah,
wanna
9:20.
do Q&A.
Yeah, we'll
Wrap it
do
up?
we'll do a little bit of Q&A. People have any questions, throw them up in the chat. And then, like how Andy reminded us, thumbs up, buddies. Subscribe. We'll probably do this every 2 weeks. Red or Dead coming at you live.
I'm super stoked that you guys are doing this. I mean, I'll be tuning in.
Good.
Oh yeah.
And our next special guest will be Rothgar Ebenlight, the Sword Lord himself.
Yes, Sword Lord.
Nice.
I fucking love Rothgar.
Good dude.
So we got a question from Ragefire, Blademaster Ragefire. How did you come up with the OG spin shot, the Hurricane spin?
Oh,
Ooh.
the forbidden.
Wow, that's a great question. I honestly think one day on the field it just came out of me, and I fucked somebody up with it real good. I've since retired that shot, but you know it just makes sense, right? You've got it. It just makes sense. I think the spin came out of it. We had people locally doing a lot of just like blue sword spin shots, and anything you can do with a blue sword, you can do with a red sword with the perfect mechanics.
Now, which one is this? I don't think I know which one. This is the going like diagonal into another diagonal over your shoulder.
Talking about the OG, it's literally just the like, you toss the grip up into your right hand if you're right hand dominant, and then you just spin that shit.
Oh, just like a big like.
I think that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rage, but I'm pretty sure that if you're talking about OG, that's the OG spin shot, and back in the that blew minds. I had EXO before he took a hiatus. Blade Master of the Impossible Dawn. He told me to stop throwing that shot. I broke Batman's nose, and I didn't find out about it for like 5 years later until Batman came up to me and he told me he forgave me. And I said, for what? Because I threw the shot and walked away, and I knew about it. And so at that point, I was like, I'm never throwing that shot again. So I haven't. But I've changed it where instead of, if you're setting up for that just normal spin across where you're generating all that force, I'm taking that force and then I'm using the weight of the blade and I turn it outward, and I start the momentum and then I transfer it into the tip, and I let that whip around, and it becomes almost like a deeper wrap. So if they run on you can wrap behind them, and it doesn't deliver as much force.
But you get the wrap out of it, which.
But you get the wrap out of it.
Yeah, arguably better.
Yeah.
So we got one from Crash. How did you come up with the raindrop?
So I have to give that to I don't know if he's still active, but Adeus of the Sons of Terra came up with his very early iteration, which I think was the teardrop, which is the same concept and momentum where you come with the underside fake, you bring it up and come over and drop to that shoulder. and he did that on Sword and Board for a long time, and it's the one he would use to flex on a lot of people. Deus, back when we were fighting, years and years ago, like 15 years ago, was this like he just did such incredible things with that technique. So I just ripped it straight from him. I was like, if you can do that with one hand, I can do it with one. I can do it with two. And it's more effective when your sword's really fucking long. So I ended up just drilling on it, and I did it to Exo. I probably hit Exo in the face about 10,000 times. It's probably why he's not playing anymore. He's cognitively quit.
I'm not fucking getting hit anymore by that guy.
Yeah.
But that's how I came up with it. It was iterative, It was drawn off this concept where you could bring an undersweep to the shoulder with one hand, but to bring that into two hands, and then incorporating the back shield, which the first ever functional back shield was Arxidia, and he was in my unit that I had started with my buddy West many moons ago, the Senegal's finest, and Arc created the first really effective back shield. So I took his design. And it's still the one I use today. He did backpack style, and I'm doing the Tarzan. But integrating that kind of made the shot really possible.
Yeah, I think a lot of people saw me doing that like shot, and like ours is a little bit of a variance. But I was like, no. I was not the originator of that shot. I was like, I may have gotten videos of me doing it more. I was like, but that was not the creator of that shot. I was like, that is an OG. Like, I remember you telling me, you're like, yeah, you kind of got to hit somebody in the head like 100 times before you drill it right. But so you need a friend to practice it. But, yeah.
And your iteration it's a different one. It's more planted and grounded, and it's got, again, it's all iterative. It's a beautiful thing. But if you want to get a shot on film, that's the shot you want on film.
That's the one you want. Yeah. That is the one you want.
It also helps. It also helps if you're tall. Like, I'm short. True. I can't throw that shot.
Listen, I'm not very tall either, but I can get some ups, like so.
Yeah, you got to start jumping.
That Dyer posted, I jumped for it, baby.
Yeah.
Good jump. Oh, that's such a good video.
It is so good. So we got one from Shay. You mentioned field battles being your favorite part. When you read the field, what is your primary objective?
Well, Shay, I think you know better than anyone. The first thing I look for is archers. So you're doing the 3-2-1, right? So you're looking at the field in three separate planes when you step up to it. First, you need to identify your archer and long range threats. Second, you need to identify your full arm threats, and then third, you need to identify your like melee threats. And that's essentially how I approach the field every time. And I'm looking at, ways to block high impact people. So Shay asking the question, I notice Shay on the field. Hey Katie, I'm always cognizant of where she's at. I'm always cognizant of the top level performers of their threat range. So you're trying to create a favorable condition for yourself where you're blocking the lanes and taking out the highest threats of each of those 3-2-1 threat levels when you approach. That's always what I'm doing every time.
Great question.
That's a good one.
Yeah, awesome question, Shay.
Got any more?
No more questions for the father
no
of red
more
fighting?
questions.
What?
I thought y'all liked red fighting.
Evias, what was your first Minred built on?
Fiberglass, baby.
Like half-inch fiberglass?
Half-inch fiberglass. So
Hell yeah.
that's what made it possible. That's when when that went from. Before fiberglass was like integrated into the game, it was band shop. So I was fighting with that long ass glaive. But once we had, and it's crazy that it wasn't available for so long. That was like cutting edge technologies, a one-hander on fucking half-inch fiberglass. But you would take a 4-foot length of that and put a reblade on it, and that was my baby, man. You can get those things. I used when I was in high school. I was in a metal working shop where I made a metal chisel, and I taped that to the blade for counterbalance, and I used that for about 3 years. And it weighed around 24 ounces. So yeah, that was the first one.
We got another one from Ravenbird 007. When you fight as a red user, what do you enjoy the most? Like, do you like the energy or the 1v1 against others?
I like it's a solid mix, but the 1v1 versus others is what I enjoy the most, and kind of a trick question in a way, because that 1v1 is on the field and you're trying to set it up. It's all a series, with anything under 6 feet, it's a series of you setting up 1v1s and creating favorable conditions for yourself. So that's where I thrive. The moment I come in with a hanging guard and take control of a spear and it's 1v1 us, or the moment a sword and border rushes in and I'm like, you're 1v1ing? That's wonderful. And just creating those conditions over and over. And that to me is like the most enjoyable part. It's just creating those 1v1 conditions and moving through them. Sure, you're doing work as you're passively chopping legs on a line, but there's just nothing like that eye to eye engagement of one of us dies by the end of this and moves on.
Looking at another question from Chad Cap. Red Sword tournament between all the Blade Masters. Who's coming on top, and why is it you?
I love you, Kobe. I love you so much, but I'm gonna be real with you, baby. I'm not a tournament fighter. I like drinking and watching way too much. So while I think honestly, that's a tough question to answer. It's gonna have to be between probably Aridin and Dozer. If we put them all into the pit. If it's Blade Masters versus Blade Masters and we're all evenly matched with lengths, I think that changes everything. But if we're all able, because I can hang and bang with the same lengths, and I think that at that point it's almost fucking rock paper scissors of who the matchups are, because we do have different strengths for one another. But just in tournament settings specifically, the work that Aridin and Dozer have put out it's just really impressive. And Fane's incredible too. I mean, he sings with that glaive. I think Fane is probably his best in that 4v4 with the glaive controlling the situation. But 1v1, I'm always out there drinking and screaming for Aridin and Dozer. And then Rage is always getting in there too.
The correct answer is Dozer, for the record.
He's really fucking good at the duel.
He for whatever reason in any tournament, like I usually will fight him at the end. Like anytime I fought him at the end, it's always like I just get mopped. So I'm like, you know what? Like you've got my number, but I refuse to spar him because if I come up with new shit, I don't want him to know about it.
So, got the Blade Master secrets.
Like I'm like, I will see you in the tournament, and that is all you need to know.
Yeah.
No, but you guys, I mean, you put on a fucking show. I love it so much.
Well, I think every Blade Master has their niche in that sense too. Like you're saying, like Aridin and Dozer like to do tournaments. Ragefire is a 1v1 dual master. Like not many people can beat him in a 1v1. While like Lester is like a min prodigy. Like it is almost impossible to hit you with anything, Evias. So like everyone has their deal, and I think that's important. That I don't really want any of us to be cookie cutter or the same.
Yeah, I fought Vias. I didn't know what happened. I just died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like I'm a duelist, but I'm a 1st to 10 duelist. I'm not a tournament duelist.
Yeah.
I want to
figure
figure
an animal. Like, it really is.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say if we had morning tournaments, does that mean Evias enters? Because then I don't know. Are you drinking at 8 a.m.?
So I mean, yeah. If it's not, I'm not drinking at 8 a.m. Anymore. But I fight in a lot of daytime tournaments. We actually had a local one, the Mines of Moira. They misspelled Moria, so it was the Mines of Moira. And I took that red tournament, and me and Boulevard took the 2-man tournament. Sweet. Because it was during the day. It was during the daytime. And I just all I did the entire time is I used a longer weapon, and I used what I call the master stab. There's a really good clip of Rage using it where you keep your weapon up and they come in on you and they rush and you just go under and up. Yep. And I just did that on repeat. I didn't throw any other shot, and I just won the Iron Man because of that. So I'm into that. I like that. I like an Iron Man style. I'll always show up for an Iron Man. In a daytime tournament, I'll probably be there too. But the nighttime, especially the best tournaments in the game, hands down, are Winter War and Orc Wars. Yeah. And I drive 14 hours to see my homies. So when I'm at nighttime, I'm just partying, man. So it's hard for me to like rationalize staying in the fight after so many years when it comes to that. But daytime tourneys, I'm in it, man. If there's fighting, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have Terrace Tavern and Casino Night at Orc Wars Saturday.
Oh shit! That's some
Yeah.
Y'all don't know the shit that's about to go down.
It's gonna be big.
I
What?
can't wait.
All right, we'll do a couple
We're
more
on a
questions, and then we'll gush about Orc Wars real quick. So let's see. We got one from Shay again. When you reach the line with great exchanges on both sides, do you find yourself being the one to create the needed pressure for your team?
Yeah. My role is to apply pressure. Essentially, I think not everybody. I guess it's not universal, but the style I bring is I'm 100% applying pressure with every moment that I'm around. So, I even if I'm not striking and I'm using like a 5.5er and I'll be taking your space and creating those lanes that are ideal conditions for me and my team. So I'll be weaving back and forth on edging on two weaker opponents, keeping the stronger ones in the center, so they have to push back. And so I'm always applying pressure, 100%. That like the moment I'm on the field, I have to be doing that, or I'm just I don't think I feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing. And I think that's very similar to a lot of the support weapons. Let's be real, sword and borders are the support. They support all the fucking kills.
Yeah.
But I love you. Thanks for supporting me for my whole fighting career. I love you, baby. That's Chad Cat. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, I'm always setting the pace. I mean, I think that's part of the role as a red sword fighter.
So we got one from Andy again. Speaking about tournaments, opinion on a tournament with all the Blade Masters for a special title that lasts for a year, a King of Blade Masters sort of thing.
That sounds fucking dope. Grandmaster tournament, baby.
Grandmasters.
Let's go.
Ooh.
I'm not taking any of my hits, just for the record.
I'll blow them off too.
Yeah. We could do it
Like-
EMP style, three blows.
Hit.
I think that's super sick because I like bragging rights and all that bullshit. I just like anything that gets talk going, but I would like to just host an Iron Man Red Sword tournament from the Blade Masters.
We talked about that. You remember at the start we were like at Ragnarok, we were gonna host like a Blade Master Summit where like all the houses like had our apprentices fight, and then also other people could enter it. Like that.
Yeah.
That is very much.
I've been floating around the idea of doing an SKBC specifically for Red Sword and Great Sword.
I like that.
That'd be great.
And I would like to like the Blade Masters host that. We definitely apprentices should be in it. But we run it and just come up with a cool ass prize, do it Iron Man style, and shout out to fucking Dyer for with Come Try LARP for really reinvigorating our games, doing the recruiting that is really difficult to do during this generation. It would set him up for a great opportunity to get some footage too. So I think it's something that we should keep in mind.
Maybe at Armageddon?
Maybe at Armageddon. Yeah, I'll be at Armageddon.
I'm down. Totally down.
I think we're going to bring maybe 3 vans from Florida, so
3 vans.
3 vans.
Well, we'll create like Ebb and Light camped with us last year. We'll just create like an enclave of shadow people and Blade Masters.
No, it'll just be a Brotherhood of Red camp.
Yeah, Brotherhood of Red camp. And friends.
And friends, yeah. All right, we got one last one. We got one from Wayward. Any advice on how to improve one-handed wraps with the red sword?
Repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition. It's one of my apprentices, DC, learned the red wrap because at his job he had a wrench that he used to open containers, and he just sat there all day and just slowly with a 10-pound object repeated the form until he had it perfectly. So the wrap with the one-handed, and I would say there's some footage of me throwing it out there, and I'm sure there's some footage of Aridin throwing out there and a few others, but the beginning of the momentum that you need to keep in mind while you're drilling it is it actually comes from above your head.
Yeah.
So you're positioning it, you're bringing your arm up, you're positioning it here, and you're pulling it back, and that's where the tip of that blade is what's guiding the whole process. So you're pulling the whole sword back, and now that tip's back, you're rolling it in back like you're gonna. I know I'm in a tiny little zoom box here, but you're coming over your head, and just watch the position of my wrist while I do this in my hand. Coming in, and then all of a sudden it's behind, and then it's mid swing. You are cracking it like a whip. So you're essentially creating a momentum where you're cracking it like a whip, and all of the energy is going to be released at once. So you shouldn't feel the chop engaging until the moment hits, and it only hits for a flash of a second, and it's a lot of energy at once. So that's the movement you're trying to do. It's over your head, pulling that energy around, and then releasing it, like kind of like a whip strike.
Now I throw it with a buckler. I'll engage and throw a small like shoulder tackle with the buckler, and then now I have that space that's stuck that they can't throw anything, and I'll have it above my head from there when I engage, and that's how I started throwing it. So I throw it with the left hand.
Yeah, left-handed. The left-handed wrap is the left-handed wrap's actually the better wrap.
Yeah.
So the left-handed wrap is the one that you really want, especially as a right-hander, because your hand's already in position.
Are we frozen on anybody else's screen?
Yeah, he's frozen on mine.
Looks like we're all frozen. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Okay.
Can't hear him.
Looks
though.
like we lost Evias.
He lefty wrapped himself out of the fight. Straight into the shadow realm.
Straight back into Michigan. That's a bummer.
Well,
Give him a few minutes.
yeah, we can kind of wrap it up. We always were like, hey, we're doing this for an hour, and it's like, cool.
Yeah, it ends up being like 2 hours.
2 hours later.
We're just
And it's
having too much fun.
There's a lot of stuff to dig into when you get like somebody, with such statuses like Evias, where you're like, there's so much stuff people want to ask and pick his brain on. Which I don't mind. I don't have anything else to do tonight, so.
Evias, why you do this?
He's like, I leave in a flash.
Went to go get more absinthe.
Yeah, probably. All right, yeah. So I guess we could. Oh, he's out completely now.
There we go. He's joined back.
Yeah.
So once he
Maybe his laptop died.
could be.
Just gonna move stuff around.
Hey,
now.
what's going on? Yeah,
There we go.
I'm back.
All right.
There he is.
All right.
How's it going, boys?
You were saying lefty wrap.
Yeah, you lefty wrapped yourself into the
So,
nether.
you got wrapped myself too hard. But yeah, I mean, Fox, you're onto it, man. The left-handed wrap's actually the only one that really matters. Because you've already, well, as a right-handed fighter, your hand is already down at the pommel level, which means you're not conceding anything and you're not telegraphing at all. You don't have to shift into the movement. It's already prepared. It's already locked. It's loaded. They step in. You take your forward foot back, and it's a similar motion around and around in a wrap. And so I would suggest if you're trying to learn it, start with your right hand that you're more familiar with, because it is the same motion. And then once it feels right there, switch to your other hand and then learn how to generate the force from that side as well.
I think what helped me a lot too is actually just fighting lefty sword and board, and just throwing hit wraps with a blue, and then just transition to a longer sword and then a red and kind of thing.
That's great advice. Like if you really have the time and you have a bob and you want to grind it out, just start with a shorter weapon and start working your way up. That's great advice.
All right, Damon, we all good on YouTube? Did that get fixed up?
Yeah, I'm just fixing a few things, but yeah, we're good. Everyone can
Okay.
see our beautiful faces.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure about that. But yeah, I just want to give a big thank you, Evias, for coming out and talking with us. You're welcome to come back whenever you want to. We're always here for you, as you are for us.
That's right.
Oh, did he freeze again?
I'm freezing a little bit, but I heard you.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm in between realities right
Yeah, you are, man.
The Void Walker.
The vo-
now.
the
I,
truth.
I really appreciate you guys having me. I mean, just again, like anything we can bring to this community is fucking awesome. And watching your first podcast, I was so hype. I was like, I couldn't keep I was like typing shit in chat constantly.
Yeah.
Just like super hype on everything you're talking about. So
Mhm.
it's really fucking awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude.
Awesome, man.
Glad
So
to
now
have
we're
you.
looking at next time on the 28th.
Correct.
We'll have Rothgar, the Sword Lord himself,
The Sword
Uh,
Lord.
probably talking about his history and the beginnings of the BOR because he was there right in Babsap in the beginning.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. A good listen.
Also, Orc Wars.
Yeah, Orc Wars, man.
Orc Wars. Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Damon, what are those dates again?
Oh man, you put me on the spot.
Orc Wars.
I don't know. Sometime in March.
Yeah,
Let's
sometime
see.
March, man.
Also, can we put whatever pressure we can on the Winter War people? I apparently have to. I have a work function on the weekend of the 11th, so can we just do it the first weekend of November? I'm gonna cry.
Will was here earlier. So
What was that?
Will was in here earlier.
Oh shit! But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, we'll see where it ends up. But God, what a great event! That Orc Wars and Winter War. If those are the only two events you can make every year, you're doing great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Orc Wars
perfect.
is the 23rd through 26th.
Be there.
Hell yeah.
So I'll be there.
Also,
I'll be
all
there.
you short red lovers, we actually ban 8-foot reds on Saturday.
Hell
So,
yeah!
It's like 6 and under only.
One less thing I need to pack.
Now we still allow it in like tournaments and stuff like that, but the on the field now.
I like that. I like that. I think it gives it makes the game more expressive and more fun.
But yeah, tournaments, arts and science we got going on. Terrace Tavern's coming back for all you people over 21, free booze. Then we're gonna do old casino night that they used to do at Ides.
Oh, nice.
So gamble on fight pits. We'll have like a D20, and we'll have 20 weapon sets, and whatever the fighters roll is what they use.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
I love chaos, so I
Yeah.
might have to get in on that.
So
We got that special tournament that we're working on. It's
Yeah.
in the works.
the Royal Rumble.
Is it a min-red tournament? When do we get it in the 15 under tournament?
Let's
Maybe,
just say
maybe that's what we need to host as Blade Masters.
Yeah. Min-red only.
Yeah,
Show your true skill.
yeah, and
That's
create
your
great
mic.
And then Lester will win the whole thing. It's okay.
Anything else before we cut the stream?
I
Anybody
think
got
that's
anything
about
you
it.
want
I
to
mean-
plug?
Good.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, coming out. We had about 20 people floating in and out.
Yep.
And once again, red or dead.
Later on, guys.
Later,
Have a good
guys.
night, everybody.
It's good, guys. It's great seeing you.